Good morning. It is the Saturday before Easter. I am still in Dover, Delaware. I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of things. I'll try not to talk too much. You've heard me in the last couple of videos talking about geocaches that have difficulty ratings and terrain ratings, and I kind of want to explain a little bit what that means. So when you hide a geocache, you have to give it a difficulty rating and a terrain rating. And so the difficulty rating is they're mostly subjective, especially the difficulty rating. So when you hide the geocache, you decide how difficult you think that cache is going to be to find, and you give it a rating from 1 to 5. So the easiest cache to find and get into would be a 1. And if you watched the last video, I found a geocache that was very easy to find, but it had a difficulty rating of 2 because it was a little more difficult to get to the log book. And they can go all the way up to 5. A lot of the difficulty 5 rating caches are like puzzle caches that have a really, really difficult puzzle to solve or something. And again, those are very subjective. Terrain ratings is a little bit different, and it's a little bit less subjective. So if your geocache, so again, they go from 1 to 5. If you have a geocache that has a difficulty rating, a terrain rating of 1, that means that if you have a wheelchair, you can find that cache. So it's on, level, paved surface, and you can reach it from your wheelchair. If you watch the video about the Cache Odyssey cache that I found in Chesapeake, all the Cache Odyssey, there's a Cache Odyssey geocache in every state, and they're all terrain 1 because the purpose of them is for them all to be accessible. If you have 1.5, that could mean that you might have to walk in the grass a little bit, or walk a little bit to get to it, a few feet maybe. And again, it's pretty subjective. So they can go all the way from 1 to 5. And if you have a 5 difficulty or a 5 terrain rating, usually that means that in order to access that cache, you would need special equipment, right? So maybe it's on an island that's only accessible by boat, or you might have to have climbing equipment to get to the cache. Maybe it's on top of a cliff that you can't get to unless you rock climb to it. I have done 1 5 terrain rating cache, and that was one that was outside of Memphis. I'm going to pause this video for a second because my arm is getting tired from holding it. I need to get a selfie stick so I can switch hands. So the terrain 5 cache that I found was way up in a tree. There's a geocacher down in Memphis area whose geocaching name is Shandrum, who is a professional arborist. And when I went down to Memphis a few years ago for the first cache, I couldn't remember the name of the event. It was the Cache Fest event in Memphis. It was the very first Cache Fest mega event. And he brought out his arborist equipment, went to the cache, and for the few days leading up to the event and on the day of the event, he gave geocachers an opportunity to go up into the tree and get the cache. That was so cool. So I got to put on the harness and pull myself up on a rope. It was scary as all get out, but it was so cool. So that's what it means. On the agenda for today is we are planning to go to a state park called Cape Henlopen State Park, which is right on the beach, right near Lewes, Delaware, which is right across from Cape May, New Jersey, if you know where that is. And There are some walking trails and some hiking trails there. There are geocaches there, and there is a letterbox cache that has a difficulty rating of 2. I doubt we will have a chance to get that because Andrea, my daughter-in-law, is going to have a baby in August. So right now, she doesn't feel well a lot of the time. She doesn't have a ton of energy. So they might not be up for hiking. And Matt really isn't huge into hiking. I think the hike would be short. So I think any walking that we do will probably be on the beach or like down to the beach. So, but I will have a chance to do some more geocaching, hopefully in May. And I should be able to find a good difficulty letterbox then. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was I recently got a Garmin smartwatch, and I really like my Garmin smartwatch. And one of the things that's cool about it is that it measures your heart rate, it measures your sleep, and every day it gives you a body battery score, which kind of predicts how much energy that you have for that day. Well, the last couple of days I've been fighting, I don't know if it's allergies or a cold or both. This time of year I always get spring allergies. But my body battery has been really low. I mean, I haven't felt 100%. But like yesterday, I didn't sleep well the night before. And I got a very low sleep score, which was like 36. Poor sleep quality, it said. And my body battery started the day out at 25, which is crazy. Because usually when I wake up in the morning, my body battery is at somewhere between 65 and 85. My resting heart rate is usually around upper 50s, low 60s. And my heart rate has been in the 70s and 80s, resting heart rate. So I am fighting something. So that gives me a low battery score because my resting heart rate is so high. This morning, I got a little bit better sleep last night. My sleep score was slightly better, but not much better. I woke up and my body battery was at 22. So if you have a Garmin watch, do you pay attention to that? Because I sure do not feel like I only have a 22 level of energy. I feel like my energy level today is much higher than that. So let me know in the comments what you do. Do you pay attention to that or do you ignore it? First we go to the Surf Bagel. Next time I come, I'm going to try the Old Bay bagels. Two oceans in 1 week. I got a sesame seed bagel with hummus and a whole bunch of veggies and chips. Look, the dolphins out there. That's a bird. Look. I'm going to get this on video. Looking for a geocache. About a half mile up the beach and then about a tenth of a mile up this little Jeep road, and the cache is about 80 feet this way, and I see what looks like could be a geo trail. So So I'm going to follow this geo trail here, or whatever it is. There's a parking area here, and there's a tree here, and I'm 15 feet away. My guess is the tree. Bingo! Right in this pile of logs. There's a trackable in here. And a trackable is an item that can be moved from cache to cache. It's also called a travel bug. And on the back of this big dragon, there will be a code. And if I go to geocaching.com and enter the code, I can say, oh, I found this trackable in the cache, and here's what I did with it. I am a cache buddy. Please log me on geocaching.com and move me to another cache. I left the trackable dragon in the cache. His name was Spike. I don't really move trackables because I'm afraid I'm gonna just keep it and forget I have it. And he wants to be moved from cache to cache. And I could take him out and I could put him in a different cache, but I don't know when or where I'm going to find another cache that would be big enough for a travel bug. So I just left him. I'll discover him so the owner will know that he's still there.